Okay, so this is a tutorial to help you through the IGCSE mock exam that you just took, and to show you the kinds of things that you should have done to get yourself the best possible marks. I'm just going to deal question by question with it and just take it a few minutes at a time. This is the paper that you sat if you were higher tier, and obviously there's no set format to these questions. You did have quite a lot to read, which was this text, which we'll go through in a second, and then here are the questions, which I've started to highlight for you. The first thing I would say is never read the text and then answer the questions as it suggests. It will tell you that at the start. I would always look at the questions first, because in this case, your first one is only focusing on lines 1 to 24. And it's an easy question, really. You can tell that because it's only 5 marks. It's going to go on about danger. How does the writer suggest that Abdul and his family are in danger? So you know who it is, you know what the topic is. The key word is how, all right? And that clearly is going to be talking about inference, which is you've got to work things out, but also the language that the writer uses, all right? So if we just take an example of how you do it, you're working from here, midnight, all the way down to here, subsistence, all right? And what you want to try and do in a 5-mark question is pick out maybe 3 pieces of evidence from across that and give some examples and some explanation. If we just take the first line, which most students, when they did this in the real thing, looked at the first line because it's easy. Midnight was closing in. The one-legged woman was grievously burned, and the Mumbai police were coming for Abdul and his father. You can mention any of these 3 things. You've got midnight closing in. You've got a one-legged woman being grievously burned, and the Mumbai police were coming for Abdul and his father, right? So the question I'd always ask is, well, why are they coming for that? He must have done something wrong, which would mean they're being put in danger. So the way to write this is very simplistic. The writer suggests that Abdul is in danger, there's your key word, by saying that, and we're going to give that quote, midnight was closing in. And clearly, on higher tier, you're just looking to interpret that, which suggests. No marks for the style of writing here. You can use suggests, implies, means, whatever you want, which suggests that. Now clearly we could do all kinds of things about closing in. Midnight, a lot of students would say something like, it is dark, therefore they feel under pressure, they feel threatened because they don't know what's going to happen. You can pick anything you want, really, and get some marks here. So suggesting the midnight closing in, which suggests that the night is scary for Abdul and he doesn't feel relaxed. Okay, have we answered the question? Yes, we have. We've started to answer the question talking about it being in danger. What about the grievously burned one-legged woman then? Okay, we don't need to go on about how injuries and so on can happen. We could if we wanted, but we'll just put also the burning of the woman in the first line is not explained. So this is technique now, which creates questions in our head about whether the area is safe. Okay, and that's just one line, and it's taken us a couple of minutes. We then have things, and you can go through every line if you wanted, but obviously you're not going to do that in the real thing. The father is a sick man. In fact, let's just have a look at this and let's just do it in green so we know what we're doing. Okay, he lives in a slum hut. Why is that dangerous? Because they've got no money. Abdul's parents had an uncharacteristic economy of words. Okay, that doesn't answer our question. The father is a sick man. Okay, he can't look after his family. They live in a trash-strewn tin-roofed shack. That's dangerous. Family of 11 resided. Okay, that shows that they're really cramped. Let's just do that one, for example. And again, I'm not doing every piece of evidence here. What about this one? Then let's just see what we can think about. Also, the writer says, notice I'm starting with the same thing again, that the And here's my quote, family of 11. Notice I would be really struggling with this had I not already highlighted my quotes. I must highlight little quotes that I can use to put into my answer. Family of 11 resided in a, and what was it? Tin roofed shack. And why is that dangerous? Well, it's obviously dangerous to have them all in the same space, and it suggests they've got very little money. So they are under threat from the world around them. Okay, well that's catching up. Let's just go back onto here again. Abdul's opinion of his plan had not been solicited typically, so he's never listened to. Already he was mule-brained with panic. He's scared. He was 16 years old, or maybe 19. His parents are hopeless at dates. This is actually going to come into question too when you're learning about him, but you can mention that. Allah, in his impenetrable wisdom, had cut him small and jumpy. He's not a very big kid, so therefore he's physically in a bit of danger. He's a coward. Everything here you can mention, but you only want to go through 3 or 4 things really, maximum, because to get 5 marks, all you've got to do is show your ability to interpret it. If you pick out something from some things like some people in this slum wished his family ill because of the old Hindu-Muslim resentments, that's a really good one because that shows your ability to understand that other people wished him in danger. So you could put his situation is not secure as other people and the quote is wished his family ill. And what does that show? Showing that they actively want him to be harmed. Due to old, and it's Hindu-Muslim resentments, so we're going to put old religious disagreements. And that's taken us about 5 minutes, and we've written more than enough there to be getting 4 or 5 marks, which is into band 3. You just need to show that you can pick things from across the text, so you want a couple of things from there, thing from there, thing from there. You don't want to be writing masses and masses on this question. If you're writing that out, that should be enough. And you obviously want you to leave yourself enough time to be able to answer these questions, which are about the whole passage. They're going to take you a lot longer, even though, you know, technically you can pick up 5 marks very quickly there. It might take you a lot longer to get towards the 10 marks on that question. So that, in a nutshell, is how to get a good mark in a question, which is very simplistic. Notice again, even though it's a how, it's about how about character, not how does the writer present. That is a language question. This one is not. How does the writer suggest Abdullah is in danger? It's just asking you to work it out. So very quick, very simple, and you should be picking up at least 4 or 5 marks.